There goes a Union Pearson Express train rolling into Union Station. And the CN Tower and Skydome, of course. And hey there, today is Sunday, January 26th. The time right now is 3:43 p.m. and the temperature is about -1 degree Celsius, although with this wind, it certainly feels a lot colder than that. I'm here on Spadina Avenue. And there's a look over at the well. A very unique new development in the city. Well, where else would it be? Every once in a while I catch myself saying something pretty dumb. Well, more than every once in a while. But there's a look north up Spadina Avenue, where I just walked south from Spadina Station down to this spot. And I wanted to make one more video before I turned back and went home, as this might be my last chance to record content before I go away. And I thought, let's head down to Lakeshore. More specifically, Lakeshore Blvd West. And we'll walk underneath the Crumbling Gardiner Expressway for a few blocks. And you used to have a much better view of the financial district from this spot. But the City Place towers here and some other new developments are really blocking that view. But finally, the last towers are going up as part of the City Place development. At one point, there was a proposal to build one of the tallest towers in the city on this spot. It was called Signature. But Concord Addicts ended up scaling that back, and now we have Concord Canada House. Most of City Place is just off to the west. I'd say it's a rather cold, unpleasant day to be out taking a stroll. Chinatown was as lively and vibrant as it usually is. Now we're going to head somewhere with a very different atmosphere. Although being a weekend, hopefully traffic will be a little lighter and it will be a bit more pleasant walking along Lakeshore. This is Bremner Boulevard, and it'll lead you past the Skydome, and it terminates at the Scotiabank Arena. And speaking of those new towers going up, from City Place there along Bremner, you used to get an awesome view of the CN Tower. This building almost completely blocks it for most of the way now. It used to be in the 80s and 90s. You could navigate your way around Toronto quite easily by just spotting the CN Tower. Since then, there's been an absolute boom of high-rises. In fact, Toronto has surpassed Chicago in terms of the number of skyscrapers, and population for that matter. There's the Gardiner Expressway. Just south of here is Lake Ontario. Perhaps once I'm back from Cancun, I'll take a stroll along the waterfront. But apparently this area goes by the name Toronto Downtown West. And this crossing here is a somewhat new addition. You used to have to roll the dice and play roulette. And hope you don't get run over. See, the cars would often come flying down this off-ramp and just fly right through there. And this is the end of the line for the Spadina bus, which is replacing the 510 Spadina streetcar. That was supposed to go back in service in December. That's been prolonged until March. We've made it to Lakeshore Boulevard. Spelled Lake Space Shore Boulevard. In Mississauga, it continues as Lakeshore Road, I think, and it's all one word. There's Spadina off-ramp. I remember driving down this off-ramp in the late 90s and early 2000s, and you'd often be met by squeegee kids, as they used to be called, and come out and just clean your windshield, hoping that you would give them a nice tip. Is the Gardiner Expressway up above. Which is in the process of being offloaded to the province of Ontario. It used to be the City of Toronto's responsibility to maintain it. And it's been a sore spot in the city for quite a while. It's been a maintenance nightmare on top of being an eyesore, as well as disconnecting the waterfront from the rest of downtown. There's often regularly scheduled closures due to repair work. Lakeshore typically serves as the alternate route whenever the Gardiner is closed. And it doesn't make for a particularly pleasant walk along this stretch. But just west of here, underneath the Gardiner Expressway, is the Bentway. There's even an ice skating trail near Strawn Avenue under the Bentway. That's a large public, almost like a continuous linear park area. But the Gardiner extends from the Don Valley Parkway, which is east of here. It used to go further than that. But in recent years, the east end was truncated, and now it ends at the Don Valley Parkway. And to the west, it extends all the way to where it turned into the Queen Elizabeth Expressway, right at the south end of Highway 427. since the 90s, there's been several proposals as to what to do with the Gardiner. One of the ideas floated was to bury it into a tunnel, similar to what Boston did with their big dig. That was a financial and logistical nightmare. There's also been proposals to just simply remove it and let Lakeshore pick up the slack. Back in 2016, it was proposed that Toronto put tolls on the Gardiner to help pay for its maintenance, but that was shot down by the province. And we've seen very positive effects so far of congestion pricing for drivers heading into New York City, following a similar model to what they do in London. But the province is very much opposed to that. Yeah, congestion is one of the number one issues facing the city outside of cost of living. If I were in charge and you had a license plate registered to a Toronto address, you'd be able to drive in free, and if you were from outside of Toronto, you'd have to pay an electronic toll to enter the city. Help repair and recoup a lot of the costs, as well as combat traffic. Of course, you'd have to beef up the GO train network and public transit to do that. That's precisely what other cities have done. I don't know why we're so ass backwards in our thinking. This is Reese Street here. And if you were walking this way, I think you'd have a much more pleasant time along Queens Quay, walking along the lake, or just north of here, along Bremner. I think the Gardiner opened in 1958. It was originally the Lake Shore Expressway. I certainly have memories of a kid driving from the west into downtown and seeing the CN Tower and the skyline. I'm not sure if this is a sidewalk or a multi-use trailer. Trailer. There's a number of apartment buildings and condos that line the Gardiner, especially as we get more into the South Core. I've read that the air quality being next to a highway isn't so good. There's a lot of particles in the air from tires burning off slowly on the asphalt, as well as kicking up all kinds of dust and debris and vehicle emissions. As well as the noise factors. I don't think I'd want to live in one of these buildings. Or at least not on the side that faces the Gardiner. I'd imagine those would have a lower value than the south-facing units. There's a lot of people at the skating rink at Harborfront. Easily could have picked a more scenic route. Didn't see any signs that say don't walk here. Looks like there's been a fire. It makes sense that people would camp out here, given you're sheltered from the rain. You wouldn't get much in the way of peace and quiet. This is Lower Simcoe Street coming up. That parking garage is coming down. That's the start of Harbor Street. I want to continue that way. I'll try our left crossing on this side. For audible signal only. No use in pressing that. There we go. We've got a walk sign. Some people walking over there, but I'm going to have to cross again. Fortunately, there's a break in traffic. I always thought this parking garage here was an eyesore. And given all the development in the area, it only makes sense that it's finally coming down. And those are the water club towers. Those were some of the first of the new wave of condos down here in the South Cork. Definitely not the prettiest part of downtown. In fact, I think it would be a front runner for being the ugliest part. This is York Street coming up, where they've splashed some paint. Onto the Gardiner to give it a bit of cheer, I guess. Lipstick on a pig. The proverbial pig. One York. Yesterday I did a walk by the old Second City spot on Mercer Street. Now the Second City is located at 1 York. There's a lot of people now calling this area home. See if these people get stuck in the intersection here, blocking traffic. Classic Toronto move. Well, if that car wasn't illegally parked there, people would be able to shuffle over to the right. They could easily, actually these vehicles could be accommodated. They just slid right and went behind that parked car. There we go. Will there be a wave of honking? If this were a weekday, particularly around rush hour, you might see traffic cops directing traffic there, because vehicles getting stuck in the intersection is a very common occurrence. See a lot of exposed rebar. Bay Street, just east of here. I think that's as far along the Gardiner as I'm going to go. I'm going to head up into Union Station. We'll walk by Scotiabank Arena. This walkway here is connected to the path network. It's part of the South Core edition. This is a common photo opportunity here. classic leaf statues. This area is known as Maple Leaf Square. Or if the Raptors happen to be in the playoffs, it often goes by the name Jurassic Park. Elevation workshop. Oh, it's nice to be indoors. Take off my glove here. I'm going to do a more comprehensive video of Union Station in the somewhat near future.
Pretty good when everything's fine.
I'm gonna pop over into the subway station and head home. So I hope you enjoyed this one, starting at Spadina Avenue, passing underneath the Gardiner Expressway. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below as I compete with some commercial music, hopefully not picking up a copyright. There's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down below if you wish to support the channel, as well as my Instagram. I lost my train of thought. I don't know if I've already said that. And there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Get your expensive macaroons, but we've made it to the entrance of the subway station, so that's all she wrote for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and as always, I will catch you on the next one. Yoink!